What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what happened during the FOMC minutes, how this could affect the markets, and what's going on with Nvidia as we're about to make a massive, massive move on the stock, which is going to affect Tesla and many tickers out there. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, looking at SPY, this thing made some very, very interesting moves. First and foremost, SPY was just trading sideways for the day as we predicted. Then I told you to watch for a big move after the FOMC minutes come out. And as you guys could see, SPY has been actually sinking quite a bit. SPY is currently just barely holding 494, could even lose that. So we're seeing a big drop in the markets. Tesla ended up sinking back to the red. We saw a bigger drop in Tesla as it's back at 192. And the whole market's kind of turning red right now, sinking down quite a bit after we got the FOMC minutes. So, what happened during the minutes? We got this report, which involves the staff review and also more insights from many of the other Fed speakers other than Jerome Powell. And we got some interesting information from them. Basically, most of what I saw in the report is just the same stuff, the same things about how they have to monitor the situation. They have to be very, very open to what they're doing. And it's just the same things we typically hear about all the time on FOMC meetings. But I did see two things that were different, and this person right here kind of summarized it very well. So basically, most of the officials noted that the risks of cutting are too quickly are there. So they have to be very careful when it comes to cutting. They don't want to cut too early because that could be very, very bad, and they have to continue to monitor the current inflationary data before they make any moves like that. Now, many of the other policymakers also pointed into the downside risks from maintaining an overly restrictive stance for too long. Basically, if they keep rates too high for too long, it could also lead to more pain than expected. So they're warning us to be very, very careful. And this is actually super important for the markets. The market is now saying that there's about, I'm going to reload this just to double check, make sure that this is updated. So as of right now, at the time I'm recording this, which is about an hour and 15 minutes before the market is about to close, there's a 93.5% chance, okay, that the Fed is going to keep rates the same, and a 6.5% chance the Fed is going to cut. This is very, very important. Now, this went up just a little bit more as the market is getting ready for a more restrictive Fed, if anything, and the market's actually starting to drop. Now, the market dropping is not solely because of the FOMC minutes, of course. This is just being used as a reason for them to move liquidity around. But my question is, as the whole market is sinking with Nvidia, Tesla, and everything following the trend, we've been just sinking and sinking, approaching Nvidia's earnings. Are we going to continue to tank, or are we about to get a massive, massive bounce? So from this point on, where SPY is doesn't solely matter as much, it's going to matter more is going to be Nvidia. Nvidia will be announcing its earnings after the market closes today. I'll be waiting for this to come out before I make my next video. So make sure you're prepared for this. Nvidia is a multi-trillion-dollar company. There's so much money being played on it when it comes to like call sweeps and such. There are just billions and billions of dollars just being pumped in and out in very, very short periods of time. And it's going to be insane. Okay. So a big move is coming and it's going to affect the entire stock market, in my opinion. Now we're expecting, okay, a $4.64 EPS adjusted with $20.62 billion in revenue. That's going to be huge. We're also going to be looking for more talk about their AI developments, and we want to see them address the GPU concerns that were announced by Wall Street. So we want to see things about that. And I also want to note that we'll be watching to see any new products, any new developments, or anything else that they tell us about. Now, guidance is also going to be key. Will they raise guidance again? They have to do that, in my opinion, for this thing to run. If guidance just remains the same or as is, it won't be as great. So, in my opinion, okay, I think Nvidia is going to beat earnings. I think they're going to beat on EPS and revenue. But just because they beat, that doesn't guarantee it's going to go up. What's going to help it go up or down will be determined by guidance and some nitty gritty details here and there about what they end up saying. So we'll be watching this very, very carefully. The first thing it does when you see it, if it just like starts dropping or starts pumping, don't believe it at first. Wait for the data. Be patient. Patience is going to be key. Now, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just my opinion, if this thing actually runs to the upside, since everyone's expecting it to essentially crash, and since the whole market is just sinking and sinking and sinking as we're approaching it. But once again, guys, not financial advice. I don't truly know. Let me give you some warnings now. So if you're holding a position overnight on SPY or Tesla or anything like that, I want to warn you to be careful. Be careful because you might make a ton of money or you might not make much money. It all depends on earnings, and I can't really predict everything. So, if I were to play anything, I would just manage risks very well and be very careful and use money I'm not afraid to lose, essentially. So, for SPY, I'm going to start off with SPY, then talk about Tesla, by the way. So, for SPY, we're going to find out, are we going to get a big rebound? Are we going to be pushing back closer to 500 plus over the next few days? Or are we about to get a big rug pull all the way back into the 480s? Well, Nvidia is going to be either the knight in shining armor or the thing that drags the market down. We'll have to wait and see. This is going to be huge. So if you want to play this overnight, it could be risky. We might gap up very hard or gap down. It's all dependent on Nvidia. Will this be a bounce and a retest of the highs, or are we about to see the market start to downtrend very, very hard? Nvidia is going to determine that. It's going to affect Tesla and etc. How about for Tesla? How is Tesla looking? Tesla got a very nice bounce today, but then it started to come down a bit. It was actually green about an hour ago. It was actually holding up around 193 to 194. And then what happened is Tesla started sinking hard after the minutes came out. So the FOMC minutes caused Tesla to sink even lower. And that's why Tesla's red right now. Otherwise, it was outperforming the market. So honestly, guys, Tesla's still in a decent place. It's still holding above 192. The question is, can we hold that? The next support is 190, then 188. And then for resistance, watch 195, then 198. In my opinion, there's going to be a big move coming. Will Tesla get the rug pull and come all the way down to the 180s? Or is Tesla about to get a big bounce and start pushing towards 198 plus or even 200 plus in just one day and then eventually start running to fill its gap at 207 plus? I don't know, guys. I don't know if Tesla's going to continue to uptrend because it is starting to show signs of trying to uptrend right here. We established this low here. We made a higher low. We broke this high. So it is starting to uptrend a bit, but I don't know if we're going to continue to run really hard or not. Nvidia, the baton is now passed to you. It's all going to come down to Nvidia. So just be open-minded, be patient on this one, and we'll see how it goes. If you're holding any like options or anything like that, any positions or plays overnight, that's your choice. But as far as shares go, I'm just holding all my shares. I'm not going to sell them no matter what, unless something like tragic happens. So I'm not really seeing that right now. For Nvidia, how is Nvidia looking? Nvidia is crashing right now. It's sinking like a rock. Now it's down to 666, the support we called out if we lost to 675. And we're going to be watching this support right here around 664. If Nvidia continues to sink, okay, let me warn you, do not fall for the first move you see. Let's just say the market closes, Nvidia starts dropping like this. Don't worry, be patient, wait, because it could still bounce back. So ultimately, at the end of the day, by tomorrow, if Nvidia continues to sink, I'm going to be watching first off 630, this breakout area. If we fail there, we're going to come all the way down to 600, 607, and then 600. A big drop will be coming down to the low 600s if we fail. But if this is a trap, if they're dropping Nvidia just to get everyone to think that, oh, it's going to crash, let's start shorting, and all they're trying to do is just kind of squeeze those shorts, right? Cause capitulation amongst the shorts, then we could see a big bounce and we could actually retest the all-time highs again, if not break them. We could break to new all-time highs, get closer to about 800 if we get a monstrous move to the upside. So you never know what's going to happen, guys. You never know. Be open-minded, be prepared for anything. I think Nvidia is going to beat on EPS and revenue, but I'm not sure about their guidance. I'm still prepared for anything. I know it could go either direction, but I am a little bit more optimistic, so we'll just see how it goes. And let me just say this. I would not be surprised if they end up squeezing short scan. This thing runs to the upside. They try to trick as many people as possible. But who knows, guys? Always be open minded just to be safe. I think Apple's going to make a big move as well. Every time this year it hits 178 to 180, this thing bounced. And this time it's just barely hovering around 180. So I think that thanks to NVIDIA, it's either going to see this as an accumulation and then start pushing up to about 185, or it's about to get the rug pull and start sinking to 180 and eventually 178, if not 175. So do we sink to 178 to 175, or do we end up bouncing to 185? A big move is coming to Apple. It's going to depend on, excuse me, it's going to depend on Nvidia. So we'll see how it does. For the triple Q, The triple Q is on a big downtrend right now. We can also draw out this yellow trend line as resistance. Are we going to get a rebound back up to the yellow trend line? Is the QQQ about to explode to the upside and push back to the 430s and then retest the trend line at 435? Or is the QQQ about to get a big rejection and start sinking all the way down to 416, then eventually like around 412, 409? It's hard to determine, very hard to predict. We are on a downtrend. The chart is looking kind of bearish thus far, if you guys look at it. But the chart is not everything. Nvidia is going to have a bigger effect. If you're playing the triple Q, be careful. If you're holding anything overnight, manage risks, do what you have to do. And I just want to let you guys know that it's going to make a bigger move than SPY, in my opinion, because this is going to be a lot more dictated by tech, especially Nvidia and the semiconductors. So be very, very careful. All right. So that being said, a huge move is coming very soon. The hope for the market to continue to rally depends on Nvidia. We'll have to wait and see. So be patient, do what you have to do. Let me just go over a couple more. Right now, we're going to be watching to see if SoFi could get a rebound, break back up to 8.4. Do we end up sinking to 7.77? I mean, a big move is still going to come to this as well. For a couple of others, super micro, are we going to rally back up to 800 plus and eventually try to get up to 1,000 if we make a massive move on Nvidia? Or are we about to see a big rug pull all the way down to 600, 625, then 560? Honestly, guys, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what Nvidia causes. It's that simple. So the best thing to do is just be patient. For a couple more, Russell 2000, are we about to get a rug pull back down to 190, or are we about 195 and 190? Are we about to rally close to 200 again? Let's just wait and see. For Microsoft, looking at the 4 hour, are we about to tank all the way down to 395, if not below that? Or are we about to bounce to 405 again? We'll just have to wait and see. There is a head and shoulders that does suggest it might drop a little bit more, and then it could bounce after 395. So it does look bearish from a technical standpoint, but just because we're approaching 395, it doesn't mean that we are just going to crash from there. We could still bounce from there. So it depends on Nvidia. Just a few more. The VIX is trying to break out, but one thing I do find concerning about the VIX is, even though it's trying to push, there is this big gap below. It has this big gap to fill. Is it about to get a rejection to fill the gap, or is it about to get a big breakout and break past 18? We'll have to wait and see. I think Nvidia is going to determine that. And then one more thing about Nvidia before I end the video. There's going to be a big IV crush. So if you are playing Nvidia earnings, you should be anticipating a big move unless you're like deep in the money. So be careful, guys. Watch out for the IV crush. Implied volatility is going to be dropping after earnings come out, so be very careful. I do expect a big move, and I'm going to be prepared. But as a very responsible trader, okay, I don't like to gamble too much. I could, hold small positions here and there overnight during days like this, but I don't like to risk too much. That's like from my view, based off my experience. You do you guys, but I just wanted to give you guys how I see this. So get ready for Nvidia's earnings. It's going to be massive. We have an hour left. So if you want to exit anything, it's your choice. If you want to hold, it's your choice. And it's going to be massive. I'll be back after the earnings come out. Take care, guys. Do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.